In the early years of his Cup Series career, Ryan Newman was viewed as a future Cup Series champion. The first 4 seasons of his career from 2002 to 2005 saw him win 12 Cup Series races. Unfortunately, that momentum would quickly stall, and the final 3 seasons at his tenure with Roger Penske saw him win only 1 race, that being the 2008 Daytona 500. The move over to Stewart-Haas Racing would improve, but only slightly. In his 5 seasons there, he would only score 4 wins, the biggest being the 2013 Brickyard 400. At this point in his career, Ryan Newman was viewed as a very good driver, but not a championship caliber one, which is why his 2014 season with Richard Childress Racing is viewed as one of the craziest in NASCAR history. This is, did Ryan Newman nearly expose the system? In the 2014 regular season, Ryan Newman performed to the levels you'd pretty much expect. Outside of wrecking in the Daytona 500, the first quarter of 2014 saw him a solid 9th in the standings. It seemed like in the very beginning, him and new crew chief Luke Lambert were really gelling together. You have to remember that the last couple of seasons with Jeff Burton were absolutely putrid, so it was great to see the 31 team back inside the top 10. The next monumental step was once they got inside the top 5 in the regular season standings, that being 5th after 21 races. But quite frankly, nobody remembers any of that. No, the next 2 incidents that took place over the following 2 races at Watkins Glen in Michigan is what most fans remember from Ryan Newman's 2014 regular season.
Trouble. Ryan Newman, hard into the wall. Michael McDowell, hard into the wall.
Caution's out, caution's out.
Terrible crash. There was Biffle coming back on the track that made Newman try to avoid running into him.
I'm fine. It was just a bad place, wrong place at the wrong time. But from my standpoint, Biffle jumped the curb, got the splitter or something up on the curb, and got out and got across the grass. And I probably could have gave him a little bit more, but I tried to time it so I could shoot past, and he slowed down when he got back on the racetrack.
Like the intensity level of that conversation is pretty high.
Well, and seldom do drivers agree on any situation, especially when you battled as long as those 2 did for that spot.
5 years has been a pain. I don't give a You're the one. Get out of here. You're the one going away. I didn't door you on purpose. By the way, the dooring was racing. After that, sitting on your I was trying to get you. Did I hit you back? No, I didn't hit you on purpose. Go. This is going on. Third jurisdiction tell me to go. Do you want to go? You go. Just want to debate? Is that your deal? No! I should claim. Race me clean back. You're better than that. But not today. You feel better about yourself? I don't have to feel better about myself. You're in the way people every single lap. I'm driving my off. If I had the motor you had, I would have been in your way. But I didn't. You had all the that I have, and then you made bad decisions and put yourself in this position. So be it. Just like that on the race. You made a bad decision there. Just let me tell you that. Bring it.
It's just normal Ryan Newman stuff. Anybody that's watched the sport long enough or has been in a race car out there understands the frustration that comes along with racing Ryan, and just normal Ryan stuff.
Despite those 2 setbacks, Ryan Newman's consistency would continue. The good news is he was one of the best non-winners performance-wise during the regular season. Unfortunately, the bad news is we were in the first season of the new win-and-you're-in format, and by the time the playoffs were ready to start, we had 13 different winners in the first 26 races. Ryan Newman got there on consistency, but the problem is he was going to be a 15th seed. The mentality was simple, just survive and advance. In the first playoff race in the round of 16, Newman started on the front row. Finishes of 15th and 18th would quickly put Ryan Newman on the bubble come the cutoff race at Dover. With other drivers having playoff troubles, as well as Ryan Newman's 31 team quickly regaining its consistency it had showed throughout the regular season, Newman was able to nab a top 10 finish and advance to the round of 12 by a pretty sizable margin. The round of 12 would be the 31 team's best average finish-wise. Finishes of 6th and 7th at Kansas and Charlotte had them in a pretty good spot, But unless you have a win to lock your way into the round of 8, nothing is for sure, with Talladega being the cutoff race. Towards the end, it was looking like Ryan Newman was about to score his first win of the 2014 season. But Keselowski got the better of everyone towards the end, with Ryan Newman wounding up 5th. All of a sudden, they were beginning to turn some heads. Yeah, they hadn't won a race, but they were going to leave Talladega as the best of the rest in 4th. The round of 8 started off extremely well, with his best playoff finish up to that point being 3rd at Martinsville. It wouldn't carry over to Texas, as he was pretty mediocre all day, finishing 15th. In order to make a Cinderella Championship 4 appearance happen, Ryan Newman would either need to win Phoenix or survive in advance. In the cutoff race at Phoenix, the 31 team ran just in or just outside of the top 10 throughout the day. While Newman's 2014 season is viewed as extremely consistent, Jeff Gordon's 2014 season is viewed as extremely dominant. But now he's hovering just above the cut line. It's pretty obvious at this point that Kevin Harvick is going to win and advance to the Championship 4. The question is now, who will get the final spot? Jeff Gordon or Ryan Newman?
Ryan, just an update, bud. We're right now we're in by 2 positions, okay?
Yeah, 7-4, I see that. It's going to be tough right here.
10-4, buddy. You're the man. You can do it.
Ryan Newman might find himself in a spot here. We got 2 cars running side by side in front of him. The 42 and the 9. Newman just needs one of those spots.
2 laps to go. Kevin Harvick well clear of Jeff Gordon. Ryan Newman trying to find a way around these 2 cars in front of him. The white flag is up. Kevin Harvick has started the last lap of the race.
Ryan Newman's trying the high side to see if he could get a big run here on this 42 car.
Harvick, Gordon, Kenseth, Keselowski, the top 4. Hamlin and Logano, 5th and 6th. Ryan Newman looking to find a way through. It doesn't look like it's going to work. Win, and he's in to compete for a championship. Checkered flag at Phoenix for Kevin Harvick.
Newman's beside the 42, and these 42's in the wall.
Clear. Checkered flag. Checkered flag.
Ryan Newman is going to get in with that move on the last lap.
We said, what would drivers do to make it happen? We just saw what they would do.
And that's going to knock Jeff Gordon out.
Now Jeff Gordon's 2014 season is viewed as a missing ring. Despite the dominant season Gordon had, it was no match for Ryan Newman's survive and advance mentality. While this is typically viewed as a dirty racing move, in this type of format, a driver simply has to do what he has to do. That move put Ryan Newman and Richard Childress Racing in the Championship 4. Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin, and Joey Logano have had an awesome season. Ryan Newman is obviously the underdog, and some view him as potentially a non-factor. At first, those feelings were justified. Ryan Newman was the only one of the Championship 4 to qualify outside of the top 10, and it took the team all the way up until around lap 70 to where they were finally running inside the top 10. But once they got their car well adjusted, they were able to pick off Championship 4 contenders left and right.
How about this guy working that steering wheel? I mean, you can just see the intensity. This guy's always up on that wheel.
You know, every driver out there is completely focused on what they're doing, but none is more evident than when we have these shots of Ryan Newman. I mean, it just looks like that's the only thing he's doing, right through the steering wheel, looking at what's ahead of him. Unbelievable concentration right there.
I kind of wondered when he was going to show up.
And Newman looking 3 wide.
That's a tight spot for Newman to be in right there.
And there's Newman, back in 10th. Not the right time to give up some track position in this race. Newman started way back, halfway through the field. In 21st place, raced his way up into the top 6 and the top 5. Now he's got a deficit to dig out of, and he's running out of laps to try and make something happen.
Very interested to watch the lines that these drivers, especially the ones up front now, are running. We don't see them right up against the wall as the track has cooled down as much. They're taking a shorter way around here.
But in the later stages of the race, they began to fall back a bit. So Luke Lambert did an excellent strategy call, taking 2 right side tires. They were going to finally have that much needed track position, and they knew they had the toughest wheelman to pass in all of NASCAR at their disposal. So with less than 20 laps to go, all of a sudden, Ryan Newman is now battling inside the top 3. Once we got a couple of cautions to rebunch the field, Championship 4 hopeful Kevin Harvick was now back up front. Remember, this is the guy that replaced Ryan Newman at Stewart-Haas Racing. The 31 team and Ryan Newman have a shot to get him back and pull off the upset.
Newman has trouble getting going. Hamlin's clear for the lead. That's Kyle Larson, 3 wide to the inside. Now Hamlin has trouble. Jamie McMurray to the outside.
Here comes Harvick.
Harvick to second. 3 of the 4 championship contenders running 1, 2, 3 with 8 laps to go. Second place, Newman on Hamlin. It's the 32 of Joey Gase who's down at the bottom of the racetrack.
Here comes Newman trying to take that second spot.
Caution for debris from the 32.
It's going to be critical now to see where the 31 was when the caution came out.
Middle of the racetrack, 1 and 2.
A debris caution with 6 laps to go would once again restack the field. It was now up to Kevin Harvick and Ryan Newman to duke it out with 3 laps to go. It became apparent right away that Kevin Harvick clearly had the better car. Ryan Newman put up a tremendous fight trying to dig into Kevin Harvick's lead in the final laps, but in the end, it wouldn't be enough. Kevin Harvick would walk away as the 2014 Cup Series champion.
He's going to do it. He's going to win the race and the NASCAR Sprint Cup Championship. California's Kevin Harvick does it. Holy cow!
You are the 2014 Sprint Cup champion.
Kevin Harvick may have walked away with a championship, but Ryan Newman walked away with the hearts of the fan base. This begs the question that has been asked for years since then. Did Ryan Newman merely expose the system? Well, in a short answer, no. When you look at the big picture, this is exactly what NASCAR wants. They want that underdog type playoff driver to somehow pull off a Game 7 moment and somehow win the championship. And in this case, that almost happened. In a format that emphasizes winning above all else, Ryan Newman in the final race of the season needed to win the race to win the championship. If he was battling Kevin Harvick for second on the racetrack and ended up passing him and still won the championship, that would have been truly exposing the system, because Ryan Newman would have won the championship in that scenario with 0 wins. So my point is, to truly expose this win in your in system, the champion has to win 0 races. While Ryan Newman didn't expose the system at all, his season is still viewed as one of the best in the Championship 4 era. A guy who didn't win a race all season but was consistent enough to somehow make the Championship 4 is a feel-good story. Unfortunately, this would be the peak during his time over at Richard Childress Racing. They would never make the Championship 4 again. As a matter of fact, they wouldn't even finish inside the top 10 in points after 2014. They wouldn't even score a win together until 2017 at Phoenix, and that win was because of a gutsy strategy call that kept Newman up front. By the end of 2018, it became apparent that Ryan Newman's time over at RCR was coming to an end. The vibe between him and Luke Lambert was extremely different compared to 4 years ago.
It's the worst car I've had at Phoenix in 5 years. 10-4, we appreciate your positivity. Just gotta accept the facts eventually, bud. That's all there is to it. Look, bud, it's one team. We're all in it together. I know you only got one more week, but it's time you start being a part of it. Being a part of the lie or being a part of the positive towards the negative? I don't get it.
There's one difference between constructive criticism and being Ryan, and you know the difference.
Well, I'm positive it's the worst car I had here in 5 years, so there you go.
Oh my goodness. It just proves once again, when you're hot, you're hot. And Ryan Newman's 2014 playoff run was one of the hottest runs in NASCAR history. It'll be remembered as a season where consistency in one case triumphed all of the winning you could do. But unfortunately, in the end, when it comes to exposing the system, Ryan Newman's 2014 season did not do that. And once again, that'll do it for another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time.